when to say when. Excellent advice for authors as well as everyone. That's why I chose the song The Gambler, sung by Kenny Rogers, to start this podcast. So here we go. President Joe Biden finally figured out a day or so ago that it was time to say when by dropping out of the 2024 presidential race. And just about all of us experience times when we have to make a when to say when decision. Here's an example writing coaches talk about in writing seminars. When will an author know if his idea for a novel is good enough to support writing a book? There's no formula or algorithm for making this decision, but here are some common points given. 1. Do you have a worldview setting that will entice readers? 2. Do you have an empathy-building main character that readers will root for? 3. Does the main character have goals plus adversaries and conflict blocking the way forward? 4. Does your main character have agency, which means they do things and are not merely passive bystanders? 5. Does your storyline have enough plot and turning points to carry the reader for several hundred pages? And here's a when to say when question most listeners have dealt with. When is it time to end a relationship? We are often reluctant to call it quits because most of us are romantic types who want a happily ever after ending. However, counselors will tell you the signs of a toxic relationship. Here's one such listing. 1. Don't fall for the players. You might be special, and a player might actually be really into you, but those types of people like to have their cake and eat it too. Even if you end up dating them, players almost never grow out of it. They will most likely either cheat on you or move on to the next shiny new thing as soon as they're comfortable moving on. 2. If your family and friends don't like your significant other, then it's probably time to move on. The people you are close to and trust usually have your best interests in mind. 3. Don't let this significant other person tell you how to dress. They're not your boss or your mama. 4. Be mindful of how much time you spend with this person. Make time for other priorities in your life. 5. If you all have broken up more than once, it probably ain't working. 6. Abuse is not always physical. Be aware of the manipulative mind game playing types. If you see them manipulating and trying to control you, then they're probably not. It's probably time to end the relationship. 7. You don't have to give in to their needs. If your significant other gets mad at you for not wanting to engage in whatever they want you to do, that's a big red flag. They should be respectful of your boundaries from the beginning to the end of your relationship. You are not responsible for their satisfaction. 8. They have a superiority complex. People who are critical of everyone else but themselves are the worst. Don't waste your time on someone who can't admit their own fault in a situation. Both members of a relationship should not only communicate, but also feel comfortable with recognizing their own mistakes. 9. You never receive anything in return. Your significant other just takes and uses you, and you never get anything in return. 10. They call the shots. One day things between you and them are fine. Then the next day, hey, things are bad. Well, that's not the way it should work. Another place to figure out when to say when is at work. When is it time to look for another job? Here are some signs it's time to change careers. 1. You're apathetic and complacent. As each day passes, you feel increasingly disconnected from your original reasons for entering the field and taking this job. 2. You don't feel like you're making an impact. Your job duties are the same day in and day out. Every day looks and feels identical. You're simply performing on autopilot. 3. You dread going to work. Everyone has those days when you hit the snooze button one too many times, but this is different. This is every day. You live for the weekend. But despite your best efforts, the dread of Monday creeps in by Saturday night. 4. Even your salary can't make up for your dissatisfaction. The pay might be good, but the work is mindless and dreadful. 5. Your job is affecting your personal life. Work should be challenging, but not debilitating. 6. You daydream about a new career. Okay, I'm going to end this podcast with the answer ChatGPT gave to this question. How can a writer tell it's time to start writing their novel? Here's the answer. Determining the right time to start writing a novel can be a nuanced decision for many writers. Here are several indicators and tips to help you recognize when you're ready to begin. Understanding your readiness. 1. Solid foundation. Ensure you have a basic understanding of your story's core elements, such as the main characters, their motivations, the plot, and the setting. Having a clear idea of these basics can provide a strong foundation to start writing, even if all the details aren't fully fleshed out yet. 2. Passion and drive. Passion for your story is crucial. If you find yourself constantly thinking about your story, imagining scenes, or feeling excited about the characters and plot, it's a good sign that you're ready to start writing. Passion can drive you through the initial stages and help you overcome early hurdles. 3. Overcoming perfectionism. Many writers delay starting because they feel unprepared or fear their work won't be perfect. It's important to recognize that the first draft is just that, a draft. It doesn't need to be perfect. Starting with the understanding that revisions and improvements will come later can help you move past this barrier. And that will end this podcast. Please search for more information on any of the topics mentioned above, if you wish. And I thank you for listening, and bye-bye until next time.